Welcome to the ROCM Podcast, presented by ROCM Esports.
How did you start? Because we kind of told about how we started, but how did you start? That's a very deep
Well,
question.
Well, I was a creator from the beginning. I've been creating not podcasts, but videos online for 10 plus years, and I wanted to my whole philosophy was being able to stretch myself as far as possible when it came to content, because not everything works, and especially right away, trying to see where you fit in as a creator. You got to try a whole bunch of different things. And eventually I landed on podcasts, and I thought the reason that I started the podcast was I want to talk to TikTok creators. And this was like the big TikTok boom where, everyone, like, this is when gaming first got on TikTok. And I started thinking that these creators who are blowing up on TikTok only have 60 seconds to speak. So and those 60 seconds are valuable. So you're not telling people about you. You're telling them what you're doing in the game, these quick little videos. So I wanted to expand that, do an hour of telling their fans about themselves. Like, yeah, they stream, but they're streaming the game. They're talking about the game. They might answer a few questions, but about them, there wasn't very much out there. So I thought, what a better way to do that than in long form podcasts. And I saw this little gap in the market, and it worked fairly well.
It worked pretty well. It worked very
well. Yeah, eventually it worked very well, but like at the start, like my TikTok wasn't popping at all. Like I had about like 3,000 followers for a long time. Like probably a year I had 3,000 followers. Like I just was not doing stuff right. But my whole advice is like to just keep trying different things.
How many podcasts have you done now?
Probably like 30.
30. Yeah. We're at 8. I think this is our 8th podcast.
Nice.
No, well,
It's definitely difficult when your podcasts rely on other people. Like there's so many guests that I was supposed to do a podcast with, and then just didn't happen.
Oh,
There are people who say yes, but then don't ever respond again. But there's also people who are like, okay, we're gonna do it this day, but then just completely doesn't happen ever.
oh yeah. Yeah, I had that once with a CS:GO creator. He was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I want to join," and then he never responded to me again.
Yeah. So you got to take your wins when you can. So
Yeah.
So, podcasts weren't your first thing, wasn't it? You started out with Call of Duty, right?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I did quick scoping videos. I've always made videos, but like sniping on Call of Duty was my thing for a pretty long time, and I was pretty decent at it. But I realized that I'm not really much of a gamer. I can't really play a single game for a long time. Kind of get really bored. So having my content not revolve around video games, like it does revolve around video games because I like video games, but it doesn't revolve around me playing video games. So it's kind of like way more refreshing. I can just play video games for fun.
I see. What was the quick scoping videos like in the time that was like really popular, like those years?
Yeah, I did like Black Ops 3 was my like most popular Call of Duty. But like I've always played Call of Duty, and quick scoping it's a lot cooler than a lot of the other stuff that people do. So it was fun.
Yeah.
Kind of true.
Yeah, because I remember the time with like the quick scope compilations and like all this phases stuff, and it was a different time for YouTube, but it was fun though.
Yeah, it was really fun.
But yeah, I'm curious about that. How do you like think about your Do you like think about your before you before you have a guest, right? Do you think
Yeah.
about questions you're gonna ask him in front, or do you just jump in and see what happens?
Well, there's a different. I've done both. To be honest, I found myself as I'm a podcaster, I found myself getting upset if I didn't get to the question. So if like we ran out of time and I didn't get to the question, I'd feel like it was a missed opportunity. And so I didn't want to make it sound super scripted because I would feel like I would have to get to the question and then my segues would be weird. And I can honestly say that you guys just did a way better job than I do when it comes to segueing into a new topic. But mine don't sound like that. So I kind of just go off my first one for that I did not do scripted questions was the Ray's voice actor. And I do research and I do pretty good research on what they've been in so I can bring that up if I want to. I kind of just get an extensive knowledge on the person so I definitely have backup questions where if I don't have anything to talk about, then I can go to it. But usually, you pick up things on conversation that you can use to make another question and kind of keep the conversation going.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, Carolina didn't want to see like we make questions and topics. Just so I don't know if we don't immediately have something to talk about, we can look at the questions and the topics and we just jump to that and ask about it. Carolina didn't want to see them, and she was like, "No, I don't want to see them. I just want to jump in and see what happens." Some people do want to see them. It's like interesting how they approach it. I guess they have a different way of communicating in a way.
Are you talking about like guests?
Yeah, like some guests, they want to be prepared for it. They want to, like we had the streamer, he wanted to be prepared for it. He wanted to have some answers ready. And some others was like, no, I want to be blind, go in blind, and that's the best for me.
Yeah, I think it's more natural that way. I don't want to think of an answer beforehand and make sure I stick to the script. I just think that when it comes like some podcast guests, they want to know what you're going to talk about, just like if they've had past drama or something like that, to the point where they want to know if you're going to bring that up or something, or they want to know what you're going to talk about to make sure it's safe or whatever the case may be, whatever their reasons are, which is fine. But like me as a guest, I mean, this is the first podcast I've done, but I feel like I would just rather have it be off the brain.
I see. Okay, yeah. Yeah, how does it feel to be the guest actually this time? Like the other way around.
It feels good. I really like talking, and I mean, I don't really get to talk about myself too much. It's always about other people, so it's nice to have this happen and not feel guilty about talking about myself.
I see. How do you? I mean, I guess you just message people that you have an interest in, but how do you like choose your guests, or do you just see whoever responds? I don't know.
I choose my guests based on who I would want to talk to.
Yeah,
I try not to. A lot of my stuff is very selfish because I just get to talk to cool people. Like, what other? How cool is that? Like, how? It's just who I want to talk to, and sometimes I get to talk to, sometimes I don't. But if I have an interest in someone, more than likely I can at least get to a point where I've messaged them a little bit. Like the people that I've got to talk to is absolutely insane. Like not even the people that like I've got to talk to that like everyone can see. Like just literally people telling me no, but they've DM'd me and stuff, I think is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, getting rejected by, top streamers, I'm like, I mean, at least they DM me back. Like that's really cool.
I mean, they considered it. At some point they were like, yeah, should I do it? Yes or no? And they obviously they chose no, but they still decided to answer. That's like thing.
But like at that point I've got my foot in the door. Like they know who I am. Like the people who know who I am is the most insane thing in the world. Like I asked Pokimane to come on and she knew who I was, and it was like like, what is my life right now?
Whoa, that's kind of cool. That's
yeah,
pretty
like
big.
that's the coolest thing in the world. So it's like, yeah, it's disappointing that eventually Pokimane said no, but like, I mean, she thought a second about it, and you know, I emailed her, and it just wasn't the right time, or wasn't. But I mean, those doors are never closed. That's why nothing really bothers me like that.
You never know. Maybe in a year they are like, hey, let's do it anyway. Oh, yeah, it could always happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I was really surprised by Keemstar, that I saw Keemstar on your podcast. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know. A lot of people probably don't know how this happened. Would you want to know the story of how I got Keemstar?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I really want to know.
So it was, I just had woke up in the morning and I got sent a whole bunch of tweets. People were tagging me in a tweet from Keemstar, and people were DMing me the tweet, and I just threw my name in the hat. He tweeted out like, "Hey, I want to go on a podcast in like 10 minutes.
What? Okay.
Like give me someone who's underrated, who doesn't really have that many viewers or whatever." And one of my friends is verified on Twitter, and he replied to it, and then so that's how Keemstar saw it, was because, you know, verified tab, it's a lot easier to see. There's not as much interactions. And he picked me, and he was like, "Be ready in 5 minutes." And I was in bed, I was in my underwear, and I was like, I had 5 minutes. I got up. I was like, I'm in the video, or like in the podcast, like I'm pretty sure you could see how not prepared I was. I went into it with no topics, no nothing. I just winged it. And afterwards, I was just like, it was literally like a blur. I don't really remember recording very much, but I just remember like leading up to it, like freaking out and having to just calm myself down. And I did it. And it was insane, the chain of events that had transpired at that point.
Yeah, that's so. Because
That's a
I
pretty cool
I
story.
never expected Keemstar to just go on a podcast just out of nowhere. It was just.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Damn, I really bet you started running out of your bed when you heard that.
Oh yeah, covers off so fast, just jumped up, put clothes on off the floor, like I was not taking any chances.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And oh yeah, I saw a TikTok. I think maybe it was yours. That H3 talked about it.
Yeah, that was crazy in itself. I mean, like my friends still bring it up, like my IRL friends still bring it up, like that it's not really beef, but like, you know, beef with H3. Yeah, you know, they obviously have beef in themselves, and it's not like it had anything to do with me, but he just pulled up my podcast on his podcast, and it was like, and then I just got like I got one message saying like, "Hey, your podcast," because I'm not good, you know, there's a chance that I don't ever see that, but someone just messaged me and was like, "Yeah, your podcast is on H3, and I was like, "What?" You know, that's so insane. I was like I was texting all my brothers and like showing everyone.
Yeah, it was so. I don't. Even though it was, I guess it was kind of in the negative light. It was more a negative light towards Keemstar than towards you.
Yeah.
But even though I would love to, like, you know, a big streamer, a big guy to just talk shit. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The recognition.
You know, it's
Recognition, yeah.
Yes, any publicity is good publicity, in a way, but it wasn't bad on me at all, and I was totally cool with it. I definitely emailed H3 afterwards, being like, "Hey, if you want to come on my podcast, like, all for it." But yeah,
Still waiting. I
still waiting on that one.
I think they'll be there. They'll come, and you'll have fun. But
Yeah.
So conversations, right? It's like, I'm not really much of a talker, but I am in some kind of way. It's like some conversations feel more natural. Some conversations are more flowable. They have a flow. They have a good rhythm. It's fun. But how do you think, or what's your perspective on it? Like, what are tactics to keep like a good conversation?
I think in general, you want to know what you're saying when in response to someone. You want to make sure that you're saying something that can be responded to, making sure that you're not being the conversation ender when it comes to your responses. And you want to give open questions to give them time to, or give them a way to explain and expand on that. And I think directing your questions to make more questions is a good way to keep conversation going. And I think also you want to know, like when you're talking to someone, you want to make sure that you're not constantly saying like I and like responding with stuff about you, because it's harder to bounce off that. And I think that's just any conversation in general, in life or whatever. It can seem, whether you're trying to or not, it can seem like you're trying to direct the conversation towards yourself. Like you can relate to their answer and be like, yeah, I've done that, but I've caught myself rewatching my podcasts and stuff like that, you know, sometimes I'm talking about myself too much, and it's harder for them to respond because they don't know as much about you, like when you're the interviewer. So it's like there are certain ways to make sure that conversation can stay afloat, but it's got to be like a common ground where you both can talk about it and you both can put input on it, but also like you want to really look for ways to make the conversation flow with interesting things that they say. You can build off of that, and like just really listening and knowing where you want to take the conversation is very crucial.
I see.
So yeah, so I've watched a few of your videos today. I was like, the podcast was planned. I got called up like, hey, can you still participate? I was like, why? Wait, what? There was there was like we have a lady that would go ahead and do the podcast with you. So it's not a lady today, it's me. It's quite disappointing. No, but like I was looking at some of your videos, and a reoccurring thing that I like is that in some way you are connected to esports, and that's mainly what our podcast is about. Is like connecting the dots. Connecting esports, gaming, producing music, everything that makes gaming of this age. So I was like looking around, and I saw some things that I found quite interesting. Are you a big fan of FaZe?
I am. I mean, yeah, I would say so. But there's a couple people in there that I really like. That are. I mean, I have a couple friends in FaZe, but.
You have a couple of friends in FaZe.
You just appear to have some friends in FaZe.
But like in which branch of FaZe? In like a gaming team or in a management team?
In the FaZe Blaze.
Yeah. You have a
He's-
podcast or like an interview or podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it Blaze a couple years ago before I was doing the Valorant voice actor stuff. Interesting story if you guys want me to go off on this.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely, man.
Of course.
Blaze, so it was about when Black Ops Cold War came out, and he had been streaming a lot, and I was in his stream and stuff, and he's playing Warzone Cold War. And I asked him if he would come on my podcast, and he said, yeah. And then we hadn't set a date or anything. And he pretty much, it was like right after his stream, it was like 3 a.m. my time. And I was just sitting at my desk, and he was like, let's do the podcast right now.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay. Again, not prepared very much. And this is my biggest idol in the whole world. This would be, I've been watching this guy, like, I got for Christmas, I got a Phase Blaze, like I got a whole bunch of Phase Blaze merch when I was younger. Like massive fan. And I was really nervous. I'd pretty much done like 5 podcasts at this time. And we just did it, and I there was a point where I'm type 1 diabetic, and there's a point where I felt like I was gonna pass out. Like I was so nervous. Like I felt like my blood sugar was like just being all wonky. It was like 5 minutes into the podcast, and I was like almost seeing black at this point. Like I was just so nervous. But so then after the podcast, we kind of just stayed in touch, and then I had lost my little brother. He passed away, and Blaze, he really helped me through that. He gave me so much advice on, and he just sat there and listened. And then he also went through my TikTok, and again, this is when I had probably 2,000, 3,000 followers, and he went through all my videos and told me what I should do differently. And then not too long after that was when stuff started to work for me, and I attribute a lot to that to him, because he gave me the motivation, he told me what to do, and I did it, and then my TikTok started to blow up.
Yeah, it's like condolences for your brother, man.
Yeah,
condolences. Thank you. Yeah, it's all right. Thank you.
It's interesting how those most heartbreaking moments seem to really just make a turn in the things you do and want to do. It's kind of
it gives you the push, the
Yeah.
last push to
yeah.
go.
Did it give you like the
just go
push?
for
Like, yeah, I need to fucking do this. We have to do this. This is just something. It has to happen.
Yeah, and especially when someone like that says that they believe in you, and like saying that I have it, I just need to go and get it, is like, I mean, you really can't ask for anything more. Like I'm genuinely telling you, my number 1 idol in the entire world. Like I religiously watch this guy. He's my favorite phase member, like who I look up to, and then he's there for me when I need it, and like he just is the greatest guy. He sat with me at it was like 7 a.m. one night, and he's like, "You want to hop in a Discord call?" I'm in bed, and it's like, you don't say no to that stuff. Come on, like I'm getting out of bed right now. Like you bet your ass I'm getting out of bed.
Yeah. I also always get a bit nervous before starting a podcast, but I feel like that when the conversation gets going, right, the nervousness goes away and it just starts to flow, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like
I've definitely had my fair share of freak out moments. I did TENS and Kai Day.
Yeah.
And I was calling my mom beforehand. I was like, "Mom, I don't know what's happening right now," and she literally said, like, "Is this not?" She doesn't know much about it, but she was like, "Is this not everything that you've ever wanted?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. Like, why would I? Obviously, I'm not gonna not do it, but like, I am nervous. I'll be honest with you. I was so hot and sweaty and like nervous beforehand. Like, I had a wet, cold rag on my forehead, like, because I was so hot. Like I was just trying to cool myself down before.
In some way, the fact that she asked you, like, "Hey, isn't that why you do it?" It's like, I feel like she already knew you were going to do it and you were going to make it. Just like the support was already there, man. It's amazing.
But it's like, if you don't take, like, I don't know. I feel like the day that it stops being like super exciting to talk to someone, so like exciting enough to where I'm like freaking out, like then it's not very fun. Like that's actually, like, in the moment it's terrifying, but afterwards it's like, wow, that was so much fun.
Yeah. Like,
So
oh
it's
my
like
God, I
a
did
lot of
this,
those
yeah.
experiences lie behind that anxiety and that fear.
Yeah. How did you, by the way, get in contact with Tens and Kaide?
A lot of it is through like I do like a Twitch donation sometimes, where I'm just like, hey, like I have a podcast, like. But the Kaide one is I one of my first video to ever go viral, like really viral. She had so like when a video is going viral on TikTok, you're getting a lot of notifications. You can't really see who's liking your video. I was right about to go to bed. It was really late at night, and I refreshed and I saw that Kaide had liked my video, and I was like, was that actually her? And so like I went and I had to scroll for a while because the video was going really viral, and so I like hundreds of people liking like a minute, so I had to like scroll down and I found it, and it was like Kaide liked this video, and so I know that she had seen it, and so I just messaged her. I was like, hey, I saw you like my video. I'd love to have you on the podcast. And she was like, absolutely. And I think maybe she was a little scared to come on just her. So she was like, I'm going to invite my boyfriend, who just happens to be Tens.
Oh my god.
And she's like, hey, do you mind if Tyson comes on? And I'm like, Kaide, come on. Are you, like, what kind of question is that? Do you mind if Tens comes on? No, I don't. So, yeah, it just kind of happened like that. And she's like, yeah, Tyson's going to join us. And we all, joined a Discord and did my usual thing, and we crushed it, and it was amazing.
Do you have your notifications on your telephone or telephone? I went Dutch there for a second. On your phone. Do you have your notifications on your phone? Because when you go viral on TikTok, it just bloom bloom bloom. Or do you have like a disable?
No, I don't anymore. It's not really worth it. It's an interesting thing. You always wonder about things like that. Like, do people, like, how often do they check their notifications when they go? What does it look like? Or like, do they have notifications on anything? And it's like, at first you're like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I want to see all the notifications pop up. But at some point you're just like, I physically can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I've had, I wouldn't say viral. I got like 2 videos that reached over 1 million views on my TikTok.
That's viral to me.
Is that? You have had way more. So I don't. I'm trying to be humble.
The Valorant one, the April Fool's one, that one went viral.
I made a Valorant TikTok, April Fool's joke, where I was like, hey, I make videos about CS:GO skins. So I made a video about a Valorant skin on April Fool's, and it got the most views out of any video for some reason. And that was my first time that I just notifications keeps coming in. But now that you mentioned that someone like Kaide liked your video, I'm gonna look through the likes to see what is. You never know who's behind those, between those.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Is TikTok is so insane that you just never know who watches your videos, especially like the people who have told me like, yeah, I've seen a lot of your videos, and it's like, are you shitting me? Like, you just think all these people don't actually exist. Like, who, like, in what reason should even 100,000 people see one of my videos? Like, I just don't understand, how that even happens. And it's an unfathomable number. You like see the number, but like if you actually saw 100,000 people in real life, you'd be like, "This is way too many people. I want to go home."
Damn, yeah, that's like, it's like getting a 100,000 likes or views. It's like you could literally fill a whole football field, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
Big one.
Two even.
There
are like 100,000 seats in a football field.
Yeah.
No, 60,000. I don't know.
I know a couple stadiums here like 70,000. So it's like,
whoa.
Damn, imagine you
and that's a
standing
lot of people
in the middle of that and everyone there just
yeah,
having
no,
their
thank
thumbs
you.
up to you. And like, damn,
liking.
well done, man. Well done.
Oh.
Yeah, if you can, I've said this, like, I have like 20 something million views on like all my videos across all social medias, and it's like if you think about that too much, like it can get in your head, because like I was always a guy who I like for a long time I had like 130,000 views on my YouTube, and that took me like 5-6 years to get there. And so it's like, yeah, it was slow, but like it was slow and gradual, so like I had time to get used to. I mean, 100,000 through that many years isn't really that much, but then when you have videos that have, you know, 1 million or 1.6 or 1.7, like that is when, because it happens fast and you're like, oh my goodness, like that many people just saw my face.
So it's 20 million. To put that into perspective, that's more people that live in the Netherlands. It's it's the Netherlands and some.
You just got like, you got like tapped on the back and shake hands with like 20 million people. Like imagine shaking 20 million people's hands and saying, "Hello, my name is Texture. Hello, my name's Texture." And you have like shaked 20 million hands. The impact it has. Damn.
Yeah, it's wild. It is crazy.
Now, I'm curious about something, right?
Yeah, what's up?
Because I have a struggle. The struggle is you have podcasts and you have interviews. Do you know what the difference are?
Damn.
I actually was gonna bring this up.
Oh,
I honestly was, because I think there is a difference. I mean, I think an interview is just like I was just gonna say an interview is like interviewing someone, but that doesn't really make sense. An interview is like you're just kind of, I would say it's probably shorter, and it's like more question based, and you're kind of moving on to the next question. I think there is some intertwine, like you can intertwine a podcast and an interview. But I would say like when people do like press tours for movies or something, they're getting interviewed like about the movie. It's kind of like when you have something to talk about, like you're doing a press run or a press tour, and they're probably like 10 to 15 minutes an interview. I think a podcast is obviously longer, and I think they're more free flowing. Like you really don't have to get to a certain question. You don't have to you don't have to do anything. You just talk, and like it is a little interviewee-esque because you're asking about the person, but it's definitely longer, and there's definitely more conversation than question.
okay.
In some way, I think is that you're spending more time on a podcast. It's more like realistic. You keep asking questions. You can get questions back. It's like a full-on conversation. While an interview is like mainly like, hey, this is the question. Answer it. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. A podcast is like fully natural. It's like you don't ask questions they don't want to get asked, but you just you respect each other, and then at some point it's whatever. What happens. It just flows. It could be this question next, or it could be that question, but what will it be, or maybe not? It's like podcasts in some way are like they're never planned. You never really plan something you say or something you do. Like I haven't thought about this. It just came out of my mind. I was like, yeah. I mean, I think one thing that really is a difference is spontaneous actions. That's what makes a podcast.
Yeah. I think it's a great, like, it's just conversation. A podcast is just conversation. And an interview, the interviewee, like, you know, if I'm the person doing the interview, I'm not going to really contribute to the I'm just going to ask you the question. I'm not going to contribute to the it's not really a conversation, because, you know, I just ask you like, hey, like, how was doing this? And then so you're just like setting up kind of like not really the conversation, just the answer to the question.
I see.
Yeah.
You got I saw a video of you. I can't remember who it was, but you got coached by a coach in Valorant. But
oh yeah, yeah.
Who was that again? What coach? I forgot.
It was the TSM assistant coach.
Ah, okay. So we do esports, right? We are
Yes.
Me, Johnty, and a couple others. We have like a little Valorant team. I'm curious, what is it like to get coached, like by a professional coach?
It was cool. I only did it one time, but like just the insight that they have in knowledge of the game. Just like when they say something, if you're a capable player in Valorant, like you'll understand why they're saying it, and then it's just kind of like a big like, oh yeah, I got that moment. So it's like the things that you've been doing since you started playing and you realize how wrong they are. It's like, oh yeah, okay, now I get it. Like now I understand why I shouldn't be throwing that there or doing that or whatever the case may be. So it's like it's really knowledgeable. Like I wasn't really a big believer in that people like could coach, like, but I just think that they just know more and they can actually do it, and it actually works because after that I finally ranked up, which I hadn't for a long time. But yeah, I think it was a good experience. I think it's really cool, and it was I just kind of did it for content, but I actually ended up gaining something off of it.
If I'm allowed to ask, what is your rank in Valorant?
It's like I don't know. I really don't know. It's somewhere in between like Plat 2 and Plat 3 at this point. But I couldn't tell you the last time I played a Valorant competitive game.
I see. Yeah, we are around. Actually, some of us are in Ascendant, right?
Yeah.
Johnty knows that more than me. I am in Plat as well. So.
Yeah, we have 2 plats because I just deranked from Diamond. Sad face. But we have 3 players or 4 players who are in Ascendant right now. Our team captain, who is like helping us with all kinds of stuff, who has a lot of game knowledge, is not the highest rank. She is silver.
I don't
think.
know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. She is ranking up right now, so that's something. And we're gonna play a lot more together, so we can get that more of the team feely, and that the rank difference doesn't matter anymore. But that's a bit of.
I just came up with an idea.
What's the idea?
It's like I'm just speaking my mind, all right? Just don't mind anything about it. It happens a lot. Yeah, they know.
I know.
What if we do it like this? What if we host a little podcast Valorant game? You invite some people, we invite some people from our team. See if we can do a small competition. It's just an idea.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I would be down.
I'm down.
I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah,
I just came up with it, right? It happens a lot. That's how this podcast exists now. So just don't.
It's ideas coming out of nowhere. It's
ideas
amazing.
coming out of nowhere. It's amazing. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like the first podcast competition, but yeah. But just friendly, of course. I don't know. Just fun.
Screaming, I guess.
Yeah, a bit of scrimming, bit of a learning moment for our team, I think.
Yeah. So
don't invite pro players though. That's cheating.
That's
cheating. No tens.
No tens.
No tens.
No tens. Okay.
No tens. Invite tens. Yeah. So if you think about the times you've done podcasts and producing and overall creating content, what do you personally enjoy the most?
Oh, interesting. I think just like I love just doing the interviews. I love getting ready for interviews. I've done a couple Apex Legend voice actors, and one of them I did extensive research. I watched every podcast that they were on. I didn't want to make any repeat questions. I did like almost stalker level like research. Like years and years ago of like a little indie film that they did in Australia, like finding stuff like articles that were written in 2008 about them that I had to go on like the 12th page of Google for. And that was one of the most fun times that I have had doing like a podcast. And I think that really is one of my favorite parts of all of this, is just gathering knowledge about this person.
Who was this for?
Good,
Though?
good.
What?
The Fuse voice actor.
The Fuse voice actor. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. So you also like enjoy the research of it. That's
Yeah, because I don't like, especially when you do podcasts with people who have done podcasts, like you want to make sure that you're giving them something that is interesting to them, like as a guest, because a lot of people, like, you know, they come on and, you know, you ask them how they started doing, but they've been asked that like 100 times, which I ask that every time. Like I still do, but like, you know, something like that is, why would someone watch your podcast when they could just go get the same podcast somewhere else? And so that's why I want to make sure that, oh, I know that you started playing guitar when you were 11 and no one's ever asked that before. And like, I just did some gross research and found like things that you probably don't even remember about yourself.
Wow.
But I want to bring it up. So it was kind of like, I want to be that guy for a while. I don't necessarily do that all anymore, but sometimes I will, where I just consume so much that like I just do more research than anyone else would. Because I don't have as much to give people. I'm not gonna blow someone up. Like, I'm not gonna make you famous, but I do want to make sure that you had a good time and that you enjoyed talking about something that you haven't talked about before.
It reminds me of that interviewer that interviews rappers, if you know him.
Nardwar?
Nardwar, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really where I draw my inspiration from. And do you know who Sean Evans is, like Hot Ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I started doing it is because I was watching a compilation of people being surprised by his questions. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to have that moment where people are like, how did you know that? And so like, I was literally, I have this memory of me laying in bed and watching this compilation, and then I just say to myself, like, I want to be like that. So then I just started doing like just so much research, and that's just kind of how that happened.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So
already 5 minutes back.
So-
That went fast. Okay.
I was like a while back. I've been like watching some podcasts and interviews, and some people really ask like, "Hey, do you still remember the when you got 50 subscribers? Do you still remember that?" I do.
Yeah,
I do remember.
I made a montage for it.
You did.
Wave one.
I don't necessarily remember the moment of hitting. I remember hitting 100 subscribers in a way. But I definitely remember more milestones after that. I remember 300. But yeah, I think
it was like September 8th, 2016, I think.
What'd you say?
I think that the milestone 300 was in like September 8th.
Mine?
Yeah.
Mine? Yeah, I have it on my channel. On my about. Yeah, September 8th. I hit 100 subs June 18th of 2016. But it took me 4 months. I used to upload every day straight. Like every day, always had a video. And they would get like 1-2 views. Like it was like 1-2 likes. Like 1 to 2 likes. It was either me or me and my brother who would like my videos.
But was
And
this?
so-
Oh, continue.
What's up?
Was this in the this quick scope, the Call of Duty time that of
Yeah.
your uploads?
Yeah, I would just get like, I wasn't very good, but I would just get, you know, a gameplay and then just talk over it, and
But
But
how
that-
much time does it take to edit everything, or is that?
no, it was. I would literally just like, just put it in the editing software and then just record a voiceover. Like it wasn't very
Okay.
strenuous on editing. And that wasn't. I just kind of relied on my personality, which at that time wasn't very much of a thing, but it was interesting to get those repetition or get some reps in on making videos. And once you get past the point, I always tell people, like, if you upload, like you guys uploading a podcast, you upload a podcast, there's a moment where you guys said, let's start a podcast. Everyone says, let's start a podcast. But actually doing it, you just beat out 99% of the people. You have 1% to beat now.
Let's go.
And so, it's like, everyone says that. You probably know people in your school or like your friends who like started a YouTube channel and like uploaded once but never did it again, or you know, or have said like I'm gonna become a YouTuber and just never done it. Like that's what you have to get past. Like I always tell my sister has an interesting life, and I tell her all the time, like you need to start a TikTok, you need to do this, you need to do that. But she says, yeah, I want to, I'm thinking about it, but she just never does it.
Interesting life.
Yeah, she has an interesting life.
I guess we'll be waiting for that very soon.
Yeah, well,
and then together
so-
with your sister.
My nephew, I have 4 nephews. My sister has 4 kids, and I don't know if I'm biased or whatever, but I genuinely think they're the most adorable kids on the entire planet. And then my nephew has epilepsy, and then he had a surgery called a hemispherectomy, where they go in and take out half of your brain. And so he has daily challenges every day, but he's very strong, and he fights every day and is a happy kid, and he is super animated and stuff like that. And I just feel like people, you know, they like to see success stories and documenting his physical therapy. But that's just how my brain works, is like I see something and I'm like, oh yeah, that's content. Like you gotta put that out in the world for everyone to see.
Yeah, I get
But
it. I get it. It's
So-
just the creative mind. That's
Yeah.
what I like to call it.
yeah, exactly.
I'm
Oh.
curious. I think everyone has their own. Or did you want to? Did
Mhm.
you want to say something, Richard?
I mean, I was going to ask you a very interesting question, but we'll wait on that because it's. I
Mhm.
feel like that's going to be a very beautiful story.
Okay. So, right. I think everyone has their interpretation of how the algorithm works on like social medias. Like
Okay.
what you need to do, or how you need to make your video, or how to, you kind of learn. I at least that's how I see it. You kind of learn your niche and what you create. How do you think the algorithm looks of like YouTube, for example? How do you think the algorithm looks at your video?
I think obviously it's if people are engaged in the video and how they react to it. I like to think of it that you're creating a movie, no matter how long it is. I think podcasts are a lot more difficult because to keep someone's attention for a good amount of time is very difficult. A lot of my podcasts don't have very good retention, and that's why I think like it's like really hard to hit the algorithm on a podcast. But that's why my TikTok is doing well, is because I can curate something that I have an hour of footage and I need 15 seconds, I can create something good. So when it comes to the breakdown of video, whether it's 10 seconds, whether it's an hour long, it should always be curated in a way to hook people's attention and keep them there, and then have a good payoff. Any good movie, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna, no matter what, like if it's a really good movie, you're gonna be hooked right away. And like things that start off slow, I'm sure everyone's been there, where they turn off a movie because like it's just boring. And that's how TikTok's attention span works, is if something doesn't catch your attention right away, then you're scrolling right past it. Like you're not going to waste your time on waiting for something to get good. Like it should just get your attention right away.
Yeah, I noticed that when people started commenting on my videos, for example, some people don't watch the whole video and they start commenting something.
Yeah. What is really good, like I think the biggest thing for a creator like on TikTok is you should scroll through your For You page and figure out why something went viral. Like if you can be like, yeah, I understand why that went viral, then you understand the structure of a video, you understand how it should work and why it's working. And not to completely like rip off a video, but you can emulate kind of a structure. Like you know those videos that like loops, like loop videos, where they like food videos do it all the time, where they seamlessly go into, they like it repeats very good. And a lot of people will watch the video again just to see that one part, but it's at the end, so you have to watch the whole video again. So like I'm sure a lot of those videos have like 160% watch time, when it's like because people are literally just watching. And then a lot of times, like story time videos, when someone's telling a story or something and like someone's just scrolling in the comments, like looking at comments and stuff, and the video's just playing in the background, like that's a really good, you know, like that's a good video to go viral. And I also think there's it's called over the shoulder test. If you can watch a video without any sound and understand what's happening, like a fail video, like a fail compilation, or just something that you don't need to hear what's going on in the video, then that's a mega viral. Because there's a stat out there that like 75% of people watch like these TikToks or Instagram Reels or something, if they're out in public, they're not watching with sound. And so there's only a short amount, or like my videos can't be consumed without sound because it just doesn't work. But like videos that you can only, like if you could watch it over the shoulder of someone and understand what's going on, that is a recipe for mega viral success.
Yeah, I try to make my videos like I try to do text, like what I'm saying as text. Yeah. But I don't do it for that reason. I just do it because it looks good. But yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Maybe that helps like people that do not have the sound on to watch my video anyway. Yeah, that's what I would subtitle. I used to subtitle every video, but it's mainly for that reason, because like if you can understand, even with subtitles, like someone might be out in public, they might want to watch it later so that, you know, they're going to like it or they're going to save it or something. And then they'll go back and watch it later, like if they can understand what's going on. But if it's just two people talking with no subtitle or anything, they might not do that. But they might not do it anyway, but it doesn't hurt to do that. I see. Okay. Azaria, what was your question?
What was my question again? Well, I have a lot of questions because I regularly do not do any research, but I had a lot of time because I took the wrong train over here, so I kind of had me 1 hour extra to look at videos. But you like camping, right? In storms, what's that about?
Oh, I don't necessarily like it. It just happened one time. Yeah, I went through a little phase where video games wasn't really my thing, so I did some vlogs and stuff like that. And yeah, that just kind of happened.
All right.
That was interesting.
Yeah, is it? I mean, did you like it though?
No, I actually hate storms. I live in a part of the United States called Tornado Alley.
Oh no.
Oh damn.
And I'm telling you, I'm deathly afraid of tornadoes. Like, I will have a panic attack. I don't think words can explain how much I do not like storms. I hate it so much. If there's a chance of like a really strong storm to hit me, I'm not leaving in that day. I will not leave my house. I just can't do it. I can't be out and about. I've had too many traumatic experiences to a point where I do not like it. I hate storms.
I mean, yeah, I understand if you live in something that's called
Tornado.
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Tornado shit.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
no.
Do you guys get bad storms over there?
Well, we get
Not
storms,
really.
but we don't get tornadoes or.
No, the weather's
I mean-
really nice for us.
What happens here is that it's like just raining the whole time, like week long, and it's storming. But it's not like you can't go outside or anything. That's not.
Oh, that sounds
very
nice.
rare.
Do you guys mind if I come live over there?
Oh yeah, definitely. You should come over, man.
Very rarely you have a storm that blows off a few, like, or breaks a few trees or something. But it doesn't really happen that
Most
much.
of the time, it's only wind and not really considered a tornado.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
we did have those winds a while back that were like people flying in the
Yeah, but
flying
compared to a
around.
tornado.
Oh yeah, in a tornado, you're spinning around, man. That's not good.
A couple of years ago, we had something they called a derecho, and it's a land hurricane.
A land
And it-
hurricane.
Oh.
Yeah, and it hit us, and it did like $1 billion in damage.
Whoa.
What?
That's not good.
Just something crazy. It might not be $1 billion, but it was a lot. It was so much damage, and yeah, it was literally straight winds that were considered like fast enough to be a hurricane. So
Wow.
I will take anything else but living here. So
There were like wasn't there tornadoes in Florida like a week ago or something?
yeah, there's a hurricane.
Oh, there was a hurricane.
That hit, but hurricane apparently I didn't know this. They spawn tornadoes too. So it's like really awful. I did not know that
What?
you could have a hurricane and then a tornado in the hurricane, but apparently you can, and apparently it happens like every time there's a hurricane.
Oh wow. Okay.
So hurricanes are not my thing either.
I can't
No,
imagine.
I definitely agree. I wouldn't like to stare a hurricane in the face.
No.
No thanks.
Although the eye of the hurricanes are pretty cool to be in.
Yeah, the hurricane has such beautiful eyes. It's so
No.
so
That's like in
gray
the middle
and
of the
dark.
hurricane. It's called the eye of the hurricane.
Yeah, the middle.
the
It's
middle.
wind still in the middle.
yeah.
That's a hurricane, or is that in a
Yeah.
tornado, or
Would
is
it-
it both?
I don't know.
Would that mean
No,
that the
there's-
middle of the tornado or hurricane is the safest?
I mean, well, to get to the eye of a hurricane, you have to go through the entire
Yeah,
hurricane.
Yeah, that's
So if the eye is right over you, then that means you have to go through the front end, and then you're gonna have to go through the back end. So
it is a challenge, but is it worth it?
No, I don't think so.
No, probably not.
Damn. There's people that do that, right? Like they
it's
they find
impossible.
tornadoes.
How do you?
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
they
that's
find
Well, they f-
tornadoes?
they
and
fly. I think people fly into. No, I know people fly into hurricanes. I don't think they fly into tornadoes
Oh,
Wait,
because every part of the tornado is spinning. So I don't know if they would have enough time because tornadoes they go randomly and they spawn randomly and they're really sporadic. So I don't think you would have enough time, and I don't think anyone would want to do that. Hurricanes are much safer to fly into because they above it isn't as bad, I don't think. But but yeah, people do that, which is insane.
people have weird ideas.
I mean,
Humans are weird.
I mean, it's fun, right? Just
Oh
getting
my God.
close to a tornado, 1 meter, and then just standing by it. Like, yeah, you can't do anything to me.
Journalists. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, damn. So yeah, Yeah, storms are bad. Tornadoes are bad.
Podcasts are good. Stay
Podcasts
inside.
are good. Stay
and listen to
inside and
podcasts.
listen to podcasts. Yes.
That is the moral of the entire podcast, I think. So yeah.
So I have one last question.
Oh my god.
One last question. No, this is like the last question,
All
and
right.
I think we should end it in the right way. So what we did for the past 1 hour, we have recorded, and we're gonna listen to it right now. No, of course not. What we're gonna do is we're gonna, like a normal podcast, we just give a small introduction about what we're gonna do. We're gonna
Yeah, we do the introduction at the end. So, okay, what we do normally is I do my introduction like, hello, welcome to ROCM Podcast. We didn't do that. We just started, and it was already going, the conversation. So we were like,
Yeah.
oh.
So before I do the I mean, let's just ask it now. How did you come up with your name?
With texture?
With
Yes.
texture, yeah.
This is a good story. I joined my first clan back in 2013, and so it was like just a chat. Did you guys ever use Kick?
Kick?
You know what Kick is?
No.
It's like a WhatsApp, like kind of just like a little chatting app that used to be really popular. So I joined a clan or a team or whatever you want to call it on Kick, and it was called Magic. And they were like, "So what do you want your name to be?" And I didn't have an alias or a name or whatever. I always just used my last name as my gamer tag. And so I was thinking about it, and I was loading up into a game of Black Ops 2, and at the bottom it said awaiting textures. And as I simultaneously as I was thinking of a name, and I just looked at it, and I was like, textures. And then I used texture, but I think it's pretty. I never saw anyone with texture until like Fortnite came out, and then I saw like 2 textures or something. But I need everyone to know I was the OG. I've always been texture since 2013. But yeah, that's kind of how I like it.
Damn.
I think it's a good name. I think it's a weird name, but I think it's good.
It is a good name.
It is a good name. It's memorable.
It's very memorable.
Yes.
So normally what we do on the beginning of the podcast, we go ahead and say, I mean, you should do it.
All right. So I'm going to do my intro now at the end of the podcast.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. And welcome to the ROCM Podcast. I am here with my co-host, Azaria.
Hello.
I'm Appa, of course. I'm with Johnty, that's talking to security. Okay. Hello, Johnty.
Are you
Hello.
back, Johnty?
All right.
I'm back.
And I'm here with my guest. Texture.
Hello.
This is the guest, Texture. He does podcasts. And, well, he with a lot of people, with Valorant voice actors and all that. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. We're done. No. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening, and check our socials and check the socials of our dear friend
Yeah, they're in the
Texture.
description, of
They're in
course,
the
if you're watching on
description.
YouTube. Yes, okay.
And yeah,
I see everyone later again.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the ROCM Podcast. You can follow us on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter with the handle @ROCM_esports.